for the control of SABMiller, they're going to have to create SMART goals to follow. The COO is going to create these SMART goals, and what they're going to do is try to increase the market value of SABMiller as much as they can due to an impending possible buyout or a potential hostile takeover by their competitor Anheuser-Busch. Now, what these SMART goals, how they're going to be related to, is going to be related to different milestones. What these milestones are going to be are small goals that are set at every 3 month section going throughout the entire year. Now, at 3, 6, 9, and 12 months, they're going to be different goals. And what those goals are is a 5%, 10%, 15%, and 20%, respectively, production increase and revenue increase. What that's going to do is going to allow a lot more revenue to come in for SABMiller, making the company more profitable, and potentially, drawing new investors to the company, thus in creating a higher market value. So in the case that SABMiller is taken over hostilely, it will be for a larger value. However, if they do increase the value enough, they might negotiate with Anheuser-Busch to get the best value they possibly can, which is good for their own pockets and good for their investors. Now, for to create a control, they're going to have to get the quotes immediately from the production department, the marketing department, the research and development department, and they're going to have to get these quotes on what resources are going to be needed financially, money-wise, and asset-wise, what they're going to be needed. Get these estimates to the finance and accounting department as soon as possible, so that the accounting and finance can go through the budget, through the different funds, and look and interpret the ratio analysis to determine where these revenues can come from, where they can come from, what actions are going to be needed to be taken to ensure that these revenues come in so that the strategy implementation can work. Now, research and development, marketing, and production, they're going to be the primary focus on the revenue portion. The other departments probably won't get as much, increase on revenue. However, one department that's going to be very vital is going to be the mission information systems. They're going to be monitoring the different regions to see how the production, how the sales and everything is going, specifically when the marketing implements a certain marketing strategy through the social media channels. They're going to see how once the strategy is implemented in that region, how the sales are going to react to it. And determining how they react can also help for management to determine whether or not they need to increase the marketing in that area, or they can kind of keep the status quo and hold steady, whether they need to allocate more resources to that so they can create more marketing, and or if they're able to keep it how it is and keep the revenues and the funds stable at the amount that they're on. Now, the accounting and finance department is going to do everything they can to increase the amount of funds that will be allowed to the marketing and all the different departments. They're going to use everything they can to try to allocate the most amount of resources while minimizing the amount of debt that the company does incur. One way for this to happen is they can sell possible stock or assets that are outdated or unneeded because of a change in the production product line. The management is going to have to base the percentage of growth in the dominating markets. The management is going to have to increase the amount of goods and services that are going to be provided in these different regions to be increased accordingly to the increased amount of resources and the expenses that are going to be increased. So it's not just a simple 5% increase. They're going to have to allocate how much resources, how much funds are going to be needed, and then add the 5, 10, 15, 20% on top of that. Using that is going to allow for a very good base to see exactly where they need to be and how much funds are going to really be necessary for that to happen. Now, production is going to have to go and go do the 3, 6, 9 month increase their amount of resources needed by 5%, 10%, 15%, 20% to account for the increase expected in sales of those products. This control will hopefully be able to bring the most profitable amount of market share value to the SABMiller Corporation. And in the fact, if they do receive a potential buyout from Anheuser-Busch, like I said, it will be for much larger rate and much larger value, and hopefully they can negotiate that value in the terms of that, and it will not be a hostile takeover. However, if Anheuser-Busch does not decide to purchase them in the foreseeable future, an increased market value can do nothing but draw new investors and create new paths for new product lines to become available for an increased consumer base and just overall increased profit and revenue for the company. And that's going to be the goal for any case in any corporation.